Tell me a little bit more about the weatherization, what that means, and what that pilot program is going to entail, like sort of a timeline.
One of the biggest ways to meet our energy demand in Kentucky is to conserve energy and to be more efficient. And we're going to do a lot of different programs in that area. One of the most immediate ones is a pilot program that we're developing that we're going to take about 100 low-income homes in the private sector, and we're going to work out a situation where we can help the owners weatherize those homes. It will save them energy, and at the same time, it will create new jobs because we're going to have the technicians that it takes to do that weatherization.
Okay. So some people think that President Obama is focusing on urban life and the huge clusters of people. What's the challenge to getting help for people that live so remotely?
Well, this stimulus package that we're getting in Kentucky will certainly help the folks of eastern Kentucky as well as elsewhere. We're getting money to build roads and bridges, and part of that's going to be done in eastern Kentucky. Not only will that preserve jobs and hopefully create some new jobs, but it'll help further open up the area and create even more access. There's money in there for water and sewer projects, and that's in demand in eastern Kentucky. So we will be doing a lot of that in eastern Kentucky. There is money in there, obviously, for Medicaid program, for health care for low-income folks, food stamps, and those kinds of programs. So a lot of that stimulus package that we're getting in here will end up being spent in eastern Kentucky.
Is there any way for you yet to analyze how much your state is getting and how much might be used in eastern Kentucky?
We're still going through this bill that was just passed and getting more of the details, but it looks like now that Kentucky will receive totally about $3 billion in various ways. And a lot of that has strings to it, and you can't just run out and spend it any way you want, obviously. But the main thrust of it is to create jobs or to preserve jobs. And in this economy we're in right now, it's okay to talk about creating new jobs, but a big part of what we're trying to do is keep people in the jobs they have now, because unemployment is going up very, very rapidly all over the country. And so a big challenge we have is just keeping our people at work. This money is going to help us do that in the ways I just mentioned.
Okay. And how about the people, say, like the few people that have jobs in the coal industry, or they're making a pretty good living, but what about like the young kids coming up as fewer and fewer people go into coal? What could be done to make sure there's jobs for them?
We're working very hard to diversify those economies. Part of what we can do for them is to make sure that they get the education they need in order to branch out and do other things. As I mentioned, we've got medical complexes and a big medical industry now in eastern Kentucky, and there's a lot of jobs in the medical field for folks. And if we can get our people trained through the community colleges and through other avenues, then there will be ways to branch out there. We're also developing an adventure tourism industry in eastern Kentucky. We've got beautiful mountains. I mean, we've got some of the most beautiful mountains in the world. And people love it when they come. We want to get them to come here and enjoy the great outdoors. We're trying to put together right now trails all over eastern Kentucky as well as other parts of Kentucky so that people can hike and bike and ride horses along those trails and really attract them into Kentucky and create jobs in that way also.
When you see the people in the show that we did, do you think, does it make you sad? Are they the exception, or do you see like opportunity?
Certainly it's sad to see people in that situation. And as I mentioned, we've got that all over the country. It's not unique to Kentucky, but we've got the problem also. And we're working very hard to overcome that. And as I mentioned, we've made a lot of progress, but we've still got a long way to go. And there is great opportunity there, though. I'm going to tell you something about eastern Kentucky. These folks are some of the most tenacious, some of the most caring, and some of the most courageous folks you'll find anywhere. And they're going to do anything and everything that they can to improve the quality of life there. People love it there. They don't want to leave there, and I can understand it. It's a beautiful place to be. And their job and my job with them is to make sure we continue that progress that we've made so far and build up that area from a quality of life standpoint.
Now, I know you have the whole state to worry about, but if you like had a week you were just going to concentrate on that area, what do you think would be the first thing you would work on? What do you think's their most needed thing that they need right now?
Well, there's a number of things that we need to do, but the area of education is the most basic place to improve if you're going to improve the long-term quality of life of people. We've brought in folks like the Save the Children organization that Mark Shriver has, and they're in a number of our school districts in eastern Kentucky. And boy, what a great job they do. And those school districts are humming. I mean, they are at the top of the list when it comes to test scores. And it's those kinds of small things that you can do at that level and at the preschool level that long term will make the biggest difference in eastern Kentucky or any place else.
Is it hard to, I mean, you have like a budget every year, everybody's worrying about like this year. Is it hard to sort of start from scratch in an area that might not have gotten so much attention for a while? It seems like they need a lot of basic things that you're working on right now, but they've been ignored for a little bit of a while.
Eastern Kentucky has received a lot of attention for a long time because they've had some great political leaders out of that area of the state that have worked with state government, and state government has worked with them. We've had governors from that part of the state, and so they've gotten a lot of attention, and that attention has shown. The progress there is a result of the kind of attention that they have received over the last few years.
Do you see, do you have a lot of hope for the opportunities in that region?
Oh, there's great hope for improvement there. We've made so much progress, and that's what gives you the hope. You certainly see the individual examples of situations like that was on the show the other night. But for every one of those, there are hundreds of folks up there who are doing well and improving, and they're really pulling themselves up too. It's not just government that is helping the folks of eastern Kentucky. They're helping themselves. I think it was President Clinton who said there's nothing that's wrong with Appalachia that can't be made right by Appalachia, because these folks are a hardy bunch and they're a good bunch. They're going to work hard and work with us to make sure that quality of life gets up to where it should be.
That's cool. What did you get any calls after the show or in your office? What were people talking about? Was there anything that you felt that could be tweaked a little bit to help that area?
We received a number of calls after the show, both positive and negative, like you would expect after any show like that. Obviously, a show like that highlights the problems, and I understand that. It didn't highlight the progress that had been made, and I can understand that. But part of my job is to let you know and the people of America know that there's been tremendous progress made in eastern Kentucky, both because of efforts from the state, but also because of efforts by eastern Kentuckians. And we've still got a long way to go, but you watch us. One thing that's unique about us is that we get the job done.